Hi everyone, welcome to your first geometry lesson of the year. Today we're going to focus on a lot of vocabulary which is going to be used throughout Unit 1 as well as for the whole school year in geometry. This is some of the foundational information that you need to be aware of. So the first word is a point. A point specifies location and it has no length, width, or depth, and it can be represented by a dot. So if you look at the diagram, I labeled mine. I named it point A. So you always want to label with a capital letter. So if you look at the label, I can call it A, or it can also be known as point A. The next term is a line. A line has one dimension, which is length. It continues infinitely in two directions, and it can be represented by a line with two arrows indicating that it does not end. So in the diagram, I made the first line with 2 points. A line can have unlimited amounts of points on it, but in this case, we can call it line AB, or we can refer to it as line BA. Please just pay attention that in the label, we have a bar on top with the two arrows at the ends. It's very important to make sure you are including that. And again, make sure you're using capital letters. However, if you look at the other line drawn, we can just use a lowercase letter at the end, and that can be used to name the entire line. So in this case, this line in particular would be called line L. Next, we have a plane. A plane has two dimensions, which are length and width. It continues infinitely, and it is represented by a parallelogram. So in the diagram, we have a plane with points A, B, and C. You need at least 3 points in order to have a plane. So we can name this plane ABC, or just like in the last example we were given, we can use just one letter as long as that letter is not one of the points. So I can also name it plane M because I have an M in the bottom corner there. Intersection. So there are three main types of intersections we're going to talk about. A point or line can be shared by either two lines, one line and one plane, or by two planes. So the first example shows two lines being intersected at a point. So I have line AC and I have line DE, and they are both being intersected at point B. Then I have one line and one plane being intersected at a point. So the diagram all the way to the far right shows plane M, and then line AC is going through it, and it is intersecting at point B. So for that one, you can picture a pencil getting poked through a piece of paper, and that would be representing a plane and a line. And then the third one is two planes are intersected at a line, and that is our bottom example. I have plane M and I have plane O, and then that area in the middle where they're crossing, that is being intersected at line L. Collinear points. The word collinear has a line within it. That's a good way to remember that collinear points lie on the same line. 2 points are always going to be collinear with each other, but again, we can have infinite amounts of points that are collinear. So in this example that we're given, we have points A, B, C, and D. Points A, B, and D are collinear with one another, but point C is not. Our next term is coplanar points. It follows the same concept where it is points that lie on the same plane. 3 points are always going to be coplanar with one another since it takes 3 points in order to create a plane. So for this diagram that we're given, points A, B, C, and D are coplanar, but point E is not. The next term we have is a line segment. It is a line that has two endpoints. So instead of looking at the arrows, we're just looking at the 2 points. This can be called line segment AB, or we can call it segment BA. Please note that the bar on top of it doesn't get anything at the ends of it. But if you choose not to use the bar, you can always use the word segment and refer to it as segment AB or segment BA with the words. So that is a part of a line. Endpoints are the points that represent the end of a segment as seen in the previous one, or the end of a ray. So the endpoints here are shown in purple. So segment AB has endpoints A and B. The next one is a ray. A ray is a line with only one endpoint, so it's going to extend infinitely in one direction. So in this case, we have this diagram right here with an A and a B on it. A is the endpoint. So with a ray, we have to be very careful. We want to start labeling it by its endpoint. So I'm going to label this ray AB. And be careful that you make sure your bar with the arrow on top is traveling in the same direction that the ray is traveling. So always start labeling with the endpoint. And then the other example that I gave has a ray going in the other direction. C is the endpoint there. So when I label it, I'm going to start with this C. So that is ray CD. And then our last term for today is opposite rays. Opposite rays are two rays that lie on the same line, but they face opposite directions. So essentially, it looks like we're just drawing a line with 3 points on it. And these are going to be collinear. So if you look at the example in the diagram, I have ray BC in that yellowish orange color. B is the common endpoint shared between these opposite rays. So I have ray BC, and then in the other direction, I have ray BA. And please take note that B is the first letter used when I label these, since that was the endpoint I was working with. So we can say ray BC and ray BA are opposite rays. So those were all of your vocabulary words for today. Please make sure that you took all the notes required, that you have all of your diagrams organized and nicely labeled so that they are ready for you with future practice.